G'day team, Coach Ray here. I'm a triathlon and cycling coach who specialises in coaching beginner and recreational athletes to achieve their sporting as well as their health and fitness goals. In today's short video, I'm going to take you through Matthew Hayman's power profile for the stage 5 of the 2018 Tour de France. Now stage 5 is a 205 kilometre road race into Qwik, and there was an intermediary sprint at the 93 kilometre mark with the bonus sprint at the 193 kilometre mark. Further to these sprints, there are plenty of options for King of Mountain points available with 2 Category 4 climbs at 106 and 113 kilometres and 3 Category 3 climbs at the 141, 161 and 181 kilometre marks. The stage unfolded with a breakaway of 7 riders getting away, and then in the second half of the stage the peloton lifted its level of aggressiveness to hunt them down, led by both BMC Racing and Bora-Hansgrohe. With the narrow roads and fast pace, a number of riders drifted off the back. The stage finished with a bunch sprint that world champion Peter Sagan of Bora-Hansgrohe took out. Now in this video we're going to be looking at Matthew Hayman's power profile, and he's a 40-year-old Australian cyclist who rides for Michelton-Scott, and he's been a professional since 2000. He's ridden the Tour de France 3 times previously and done 11 Grand Tours. He's currently ranked 958th in the UCI rankings, and his biggest race result was winning Paris-Roubaix in 2016. His role within the team is primarily as a domestique. Let's just clear out some of the extraneous data in here that's just clogging up this graph, and hopefully we can make it a little bit clearer to read. Let's hide that. So we can see level of lumpiness, and it includes some data from before the start. So the stage is about 5 hours and 5 minutes long, but you can see that the power increased right at the start for Matthew. It was relatively low, and then over this middle section here it was relatively high up until about there if we just eyeball it, with what sort of, I can't even see the distance there. Let's just clear out of that. So his power takes a bit of a dip and sort of this point here. Actually, the reason why, let's chuck it over on distance, and a bit of an increase there. So about the 202k mark. So the last few kilometres, and it looks like the finish line was probably around that point there. Bearing in mind that he had some of the warm-up and ride to the start line, and then that's possibly a cool down, looking at how low the power is, or at least not necessarily a formal cool down, but maybe riding back to the team bus or to the team hotel. So if we look at that section there where his power was pretty high, he had a reasonable amount of time riding quite hard. So Matthew's got an FTP of about 382 watts, and that section there he had a normalised power of 351 over 3 hours, which is pretty high. But you also see there's a lot of segments down here where his power was relatively low, so he's getting some good recovery there. So bearing in mind the 382 watts, let's look at his power output in terms of how long he rode. So he rode upwards of 10 minutes above his threshold, and it looks like this is one of the climbs, most likely the one at the 181. Where's the distance? 166. No, that'll probably be the second to last Category 3 climb, if we take into account, however, the distance he had for his warm-up. And in that period he averaged 389, normalised power of 409 watts, heart rate maxed out at 170 but averaged 160 on a decent gradient, 4.2% uphill. But if we look at the overall stage, 3 hours he averaged 281. Still the normalised power for that stage was relatively high, and he's probably really feeling it. And as a result of all his effort, he finished nearly 8 minutes down on the stage, behind the stage winner in 135th position. I don't have any details of how he rode. He probably had some team responsibilities to work hard on these climbs to protect their team leader, and then was given a bit of freedom to later on, and that's probably where he's drifted off. You can see his power wasn't so high on that little climb, and really low on the descent, and then trying to keep in touch with someone or the group possibly kept it relatively high. So I suspect he sort of drifted off the pace at about that point there, with maybe 15-20 k's to go. Yeah, so that's probably, if we look at his overall, a training stress score of 401, which indicates a really high level of effort, intensity factor of 0.86 for the whole day, and the variability index of 1.33, which I think is the highest we've seen from any of the riders I've been analysing so far in the Tour de France, and it's about normal for a stage race, so it's no major drama that it's so variable. The concern is the total stress score, well up over 400. He can't keep doing that day in, day out without a serious amount of recovery to ensure he can get back on the bike the next day. Yeah, if you look for the stage, he averaged 246, but the normalised power is 328, which is a lot higher, indicating that in that period he did a serious amount of work. So it's certainly going to take its toll, and it'll be interesting to see how he comes together in the following stages. Anyway, if you like this video, click up in the top left corner to subscribe, down in the bottom right corner to get more pro power analysis, and in the other two corners YouTube will give you some videos that based on what you've watched previously, it recommends specifically for you.